just insanely impossible.
Nah.
Who do you give the credit to, though? Is it the guy who controlled the parachute, right?
Yeah, but it's a team effort. Coach, you want to do the skydive? Yes! I didn't even know this Photoshop was coming.
Wait, where's my basketball? We're not going to dunk?
No. It's years and years of belly flopping to get that pose correct for the skydiving.
Nick is so happy.
I'm so happy. Look at Coach and I. It's a slightly awkward body position, but aside from that, that would be delightful.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're not going parachute.
We're not going skydiving?
Not together.
No.
No. Yeah, no. I'm in reality, aside from me liking to spend time outside of work with Coach, I'd never go skydiving for $10 million.
Really?
Not interested. Jump out of a plane.
So many things could go wrong.
What?
Other ways to die. Moving on to a rematch of the AFC title game, also known as the game Nick has had circled on his calendar since birth. Chiefs versus Patriots, Mahomes versus Brady, the new best versus the old best. Three-time MVP Tom Brady was asked about the reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes, and here's what he had to
let's
say.
Listen in.
He's pretty spectacular. I think very highly of him and his skill set, and he's a very good player. And the reality is they have a very good team. They have a very good offense. They have very dynamic receivers, one of the best groups in the league. They got one of the best tight ends in the league. They have some great running backs, and Patrick distributes the ball to all of them.
All right, Nick, who do you trust more on Sunday, Mahomes or Brady?
Well, I just saw Tom Brady against a defense that is bottom 5 against the pass, bottom 5 on third down, bottom 5 in the red zone, and bottom 5 at getting to the opposing quarterback.
How'd he do?
And through 3.5 quarters, he was terrible. And I've seen Patrick Mahomes throughout his brief but spectacular career just have, honestly, the worst 2-game stretch he's had in his career. And it's a 2-game stretch this year that Tom Brady would climb over mountains for. Because right now you have one player who is ascending towards all-time great status, and you have another player who is the all-time greatest who has descended below league average status. So even though the Patriots secondary is exceptional, the one thing we've seen as of late is they struggle with speed. Nobody's got more speed than the Kansas City Chiefs, and they played them twice last year. And in Week 6 in New England, and in the AFC Championship game in Kansas City, while New England won both those games, I'm aware of how they ended. In both those games, the Kansas City Chiefs scored 31 second-half points. The reason they didn't win those games is a lot of things, but one could say is slow starts. That's not going to happen again this weekend. And, of course, you trust Patrick Mahomes, who is the most talented player in the league, against Tom Brady, who once upon a time was the best player in the league, but that time is a few years removed from now.
So yesterday, Lamar Jackson was the most talented player in the league.
No, I did not say that.
Now,
that's not what I said.
Patrick
I said he's
Mahomes
the MVP. There's a difference.
Most talented player, but he's not the most talented player. Okay. And so the last game that you talked about with Tom Brady, you said you listed his stats, and that's problematic, right? Because that defense is so bad. Yet when Patrick Mahomes has his worst 2-game stretch, we don't really take that into account. That's just a little bit of an aberration. That's what we're saying?
Yeah, because over the course of the season, he's got 20 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 108 rating. So,
okay,
yeah.
But in back-to-back games, he's, what, 20% below his quarterback rating. He's 10% below his completion rating. So he's really trending upwards.
No, he's had a bad 2 weeks.
Okay. So then we talk about the games against New England, and you keep coming back to the second half. Is he going to be able to put together a good first half? Is he going to be able to come out and figure out what New England's doing? Or is he just going to have to run around and try to figure out a way to get guys open because he has no idea how to diagnose the coverages? Now, I think Patrick Mahomes is incredibly talented. I think their offense is explosive. I think the thing that he has to show is that he can look at what's in front of him, be able to diagnose it effectively, and not have to keep waiting till the second half to try to make a dramatic comeback.
I'm going to go Tom Brady here, and I agree with you, Coach. I think Patrick Mahomes is a special player, but walking into Foxborough, where they've won 21 straight, including the playoffs, it's just hard to do. It's a certain when you walk in there and you're looking at the banners up there. You're talking about a ring ceremony. You see Tom Brady on the other sideline. That's just a daunting task for anyone. And Patrick Mahomes has proven that he can win in certain situations. But that defense that the Patriots have, they're special. They've only given up 2 touchdowns and 7 interceptions at home this season. They know how to get after a quarterback in the way. And the one thing that they do better than anyone is adjust. Adjust to what you're doing and take away what you do well. Just imagine if they take away the big play down the field from Tyreek Hill. Now, what do the Kansas City Chiefs go to? Do they go to a run game? That's been non-existent. Do they just throw the ball to Travis Kelce? He's a great option, but can you somehow double team him? There's a lot of different things that you can do to slow down this Kansas City Chiefs offense. That's why I'm leaning towards more of Tom Brady than anything.
But I'm just curious. I just want to know, if Brady struggles against this very mediocre Chiefs defense, it's not going to be because of him, though. It's the weapons. If Brady plays well, it's because he's great. And if he struggles, though, it's that, well, listen, Julian Edelman, who I'm told is a fringe Hall of Famer, James White is one of the best pass-catching running backs in the league, and a first-round pick at wide receiver, another first-round pick at running back. It's not enough. It's not fair to ask Tom Brady against the 32nd ranked Houston Texans red zone defense and 28th ranked Houston Texans passing defense and 31st ranked Houston Texans third down defense to do more. But when he played, I just don't know what the rules of engagement are for this as far as what I'm expecting to see on Sunday afternoon.
There's always been a sliding scale for Tom Brady.
I'm saying when half the team flies down a different plane because they've had the flu, of course we don't take that into account because the Patriots, they always overcome it. When it's your third center, you don't look at it. It's the Patriots. They always overcome it. When you lose your starting tight end, when you lose your backup tight end.
He retired.
No, I'm talking about James Devlin.
Okay,
so
sorry.
James Devlin.
Okay, got you.
Well, he's a fullback tight end hybrid.
Sorry.
When you have the transition, the young players that they have, and we have such a high expectation of them being able to overcome every challenge, that they're graded on a different curve. And if you put Patrick Mahomes on New England's offense,
they win the Super Bowl going away. If you put Patrick Mahomes on a team with that defense, they win the Super Bowl going away. I want to know Patrick
Mahomes offensively. What would that performance look like?
Without those weapons.
He is with New England's offensive group. It's Patrick Mahomes. Tell me what that looks like.
Okay, I'll tell you what it looks like. You know what? Philip Dorsett becomes a legitimate deep threat. And N'Keal Harry has the type of season McCole Hardman's having now that he's back in the lineup. And we're not whining about the lack of a fullback, because if you have Patrick Mahomes on your team, you're not trying to run some I formation 1960s offense. You're throwing the ball around the field. They ran the reason the center, the blocking tight end, and the fullback are so desperately important is because you got a 42-year-old man at quarterback, so you have to lean on the run game. They would love. Are you kidding me? What it would look like if Patrick Mahomes was on this team with that defense? And I like Andy Reid, but that schematic coaching advantage, what it would look like? It would look like an undefeated team that is the overwhelming favorites to win the Super Bowl, as opposed to a team that has a gaudy record but is about to be 0-3 against the 3 teams in the conference that matter: the Ravens, the Texans, and in 4 days, the Kansas City Chiefs.
You're telling me that Patrick Mahomes hasn't benefited significantly from having arguably the best tight end and one of the most explosive receivers?
Absolutely, yeah.
But now when you put him into a group that doesn't have anywhere near that level of ability, you're telling me that he's going to elevate those guys. When his weapons aren't available, everybody's talking about the fact that it's so challenging for him. Yes.
Because before he hurt his knee, Tyreek Hill went out in week 1. He didn't have him the entire time, and he was the best quarterback statistically in football. The Patriots lost their center. The Chiefs lost the #1 overall pick left tackle for 8 weeks. No one gives a damn. Like, pardon me. When they lost their left tackle, they also lost their left guard. Does anyone know? No, because teams lose offensive linemen to injury every week in this league. But because we are grasping for reasons why Tom Brady's gone 2 months without a great game, it's like, well, what do you expect him to do? Well, I mean, what do you expect him to do with an all-time great defense and the greatest coach ever and the best home field advantage in sports? It can't be his fault when it's clearly partially his fault.
Well, the Patriots certainly need to get back to running the football. That's what they did well last year. Yeah. Without Gronk on the edge, I think that's a little bit of an issue. Coach, I want to ask you a question, though. When you talk about the coaching matchup, Andy Reid versus Bill Belichick, who do you give the edge in that matchup?
Well, look, I love Andy Reid, and I think that Andy Reid puts together offensive schemes that are incredibly challenging because it's shifting, it's motioning, it's gadget formations, it's things that define man and zone, where he's got 3 wide receivers to one side and the tight end on the backside, and he's always created a lot of challenges. But they've faced each other for a long time, so each time you see a guy again, there's going to be different things that come into play. My question for Kansas City is how well are they going to handle the line games that New England has incorporated more and more throughout the course of this year and has created a ton of problems for people they played.
And Belichick has a coaching edge over everyone. Yes. But one thing that John Harbaugh has in his favor is I don't think he's intimidated by going up against Belichick. I don't think Andy Reid is either. If you were the game that everyone 6 years ago said, oh, to the end of the Patriot era, was against an Andy Reid team. They're 106-1 since Brady took over when they have a halftime lead at home. The one was against the Alex Smith and Kansas City Chiefs in 2017. Both games last year, the Chiefs had leads in the fourth quarter. I think Belichick has a coaching edge over everyone in the world. I don't think it's that. It's not as big of a discrepancy.